well. HEX been bleeding against Bitcoin for a long time. Is that the common, I guess the outside view, or maybe just not looking at the bigger picture type of thing? I always see the comments of HEX down, 98%, 99%. And yeah, on a chart, right? You got to factor in all the stuff that's happened to it over time. You got to factor in what could happen to it in the future, the vibrant community, like all the fundamentals aside. What do you think when you see comments about like HEX is just down against everything else, and why would it ever come back? It's always that question, like why would it ever come back? How do you think about that?
It's a damn good question. And after the recent stunt where EHEX was in a perfect price structure and ready to go do a 3x, and years of down price action and underperformance versus BTC and ETH, and so many people basically losing faith or belief. I understand why, like the brand damage. You're basically saying, oh, the thing that was supposed to be a store of value on Ethereum is no longer a store of value. That doesn't, it doesn't sit well with a lot of people. So there's totally legitimate reasons for not believing in HEX and not seeing the vision and not wanting to have anything to do with it. And I sympathize with those people because I feel that way too, but I also have all the information. So they don't have all the information. They're looking at a price chart or a ratio, and then they don't know everything else that's going on in the background. That when you're investing in HEX, you're investing in the founder, and you have at least some inclination of what the founder's up to in the longer term vision and the statements that he's trying to make and the changes he's trying to make from a regulation point of view or from a decentralization point of view. And if he is successful on any of these fronts, the value of all of his tokens is going to go up tremendously. And if he's successful on multiple, he could be positioning all of us that's participating in these networks at the top and front and center of decentralized finance, which could basically take over cryptocurrency. And that's kind of was the aim of this conversation, was to talk about how that would even be possible and how many pieces are on the chessboard and in play currently to give HEX a run for its money, give Bitcoin a run for its money, and as HEX as the tool to get there. HEX is going to be supported by everything else that's going on around it right now, and the price is the last thing that's important. Because getting a price to move, if the Axis token or SolidX token or any of these other coins that have launched, PTGC, PDI, if they're not proof enough that we can get a price chart to move, I don't know what to tell you. We already have done that enough with enough coins on PulseChain. Getting HEX to go to $1 is not hard to do. We just need to wait for the right timing to do it as an ecosystem. And so, this is like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to acquire as many units of this as possible, understanding that over the long term, there's really not going to be another thing that's going to have as much liquidity in cryptocurrency to be able to buy and sell into and out of, and by means of huge adoption that comes after favorable outcome from the case, news, precedent set, and regulation that's going to give DeFi a place, and bring on all of these Web 2 developers to come into our ecosystem and other DeFi ecosystems to build for the first time ever. When we're looking at maybe 3% of all of Web 2 devs are on Web 3, you could see 20% potentially come in here, and you could see the renaissance of DeFi occur within the next couple of years if these things kind of fall into place. And and basically with HEX, you're taking a bet that HEX succeeds in fulfilling its role as the first ever blockchain CD with real long-term economic value and potentially billions, hundreds of billions even, or dare I say trillions of dollars of on-chain liquidity, because of the dynamics of what the OA is able to do with its supply, and by leveraging something like Maker, the protocol that's been forked from Ethereum to PulseChain.